The unemployment numbers we are seeing right now are staggering, and there are promises from government at all levels that the safety net is there. But is it? Not for some who really need it right now. ABC 6 News anchor Ross Becker talks with a woman in Albert Lea who says she isn't seeing it, at least not yet.
Betsy, this is the Godfather's Pizza in Albert Lea, and Missy Drullo worked here for a while. In fact, at one point, she even became the assistant manager. She made about $1,800 every 2 weeks, but then she got sick and had to take some time off, of course, and she got tested for the coronavirus. Turns out it was negative, but by the time she was able to go back to work, the governor had shut down just about everything in the state, and this restaurant along with it. Well, she says ever since then, all she has felt is frustration.
I liked dealing with the people, but I also like just doing the work. The making pizzas and getting to know a lot of people in the community.
So when you ended up not being able to work because you got sick, and then you tried to go back, and then the place is closed, you applied for unemployment. What happened?
I was told I'd get a benefit amount of $335 a week, and yet I have not received anything.
Why not?
I have no answers.
What do you mean you have no? You tried to call?
I've tried to call. They don't accept phone calls. They don't tell you anything on their automated system.
But you have a letter that says that you're supposedly entitled to this money.
Yes, that I'm entitled to a $335 check a week. I still have yet to get it. So that's times 3 weeks. That's $1,005.
Where does that leave you right now?
That leaves me, the only plus side is I received a tax return in the interim, but I'm almost broke.
Stimulus?
I haven't received anything there either.
What do you say to people who are running the state, running the country right now? There's a lot of people like you who are hurting. I
say you need to help the little people. I feel like they're helping the bigger people, the people that make more money per year. I always feel like the rich are benefiting, and the people like me, they're everyday people, aren't getting nothing. I just don't think it's fair. I think that if you're going to help the American people, so to speak, that you need to help everyone right away, because you're not going to stimulate the economy if you're not going to help us.
Can you think of any reason why you're not getting this unemployment?
No, I cannot.
And you can't get an answer?
And I can't get an answer.
Right?
Right, I'm angry. I'm angry that the government doesn't help people like us.
But they say they're helping. We hear it every day. We report it every day on ABC 6. Stimulus plans, the state is trying to do what they can. Why aren't you seeing it?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. I don't. I mean, I got a lot of people I talk to daily that are going through the same thing. You know, fighting for unemployment, they're not getting their benefit, they're not saying why they're not getting it. Mine says I'm not eligible. Well, I am eligible because I got $21,000 in income. And they're going by $7,065. I've even went to our state representative, and she has no answers. I have not heard from her since.
And who's that?
Peggy Bennett.
And you contacted her specifically?
I contacted her specifically. I did get an email, and all she stated was that she would send my information to Deed. I have not heard nothing back from any of them.
What do you want right now?
What do I want? I want what's rightfully I've earned my benefit. If I had that right now, I'd probably be a little better off than what I'm going to end up being. I mean, you can't live on nothing.
So far for you.
Right.
Broken promises.
Right.
That's what you're saying. That's what I'm hearing you say.
That is exactly how I feel.
So Missy doesn't know how this is going to end, if she's going to get unemployment, when her stimulus is going to come, or even if she can get a job again after this is all over. But there is another victim here, and that is this Godfather's Pizza in Albert Lea. The owner of this place has already announced that this store is closing for good. It's not coming back even when this crisis is over. It's clear, though. It's clear lives are going to be lost. They already have because of this pandemic. It is also clear that many, many, many more livelihoods are going to be affected. I'm in Albert Lea. Ross Becker. Betsy, back to you.
Peggy Bennett is joining us from her residence up in St. Paul. And Peggy, let's first talk about Missy Drullo's situation. She contacted you, and you have been trying to get her some help, right?
Exactly. She contacted me, I think it was April 2nd, so towards the end of last week, and told me about her situation. At that point, she'd been without unemployment payments for 2 weeks, and I had my office contact the Office of Deed about that, but then she contacted me again today and said she still has, now it's 3 weeks, and she still has had no response.
What kind of response are you getting when you reach out to the offices where these folks are trying to get through, they can't get anybody, and they are getting no answers? It is got to be so frightening for them.
It is, and I can't imagine it. And I first want to say that I think, I know Deed, the office that is in charge of unemployment, is just bombarded right now. They're under a heavy weight. They've had so many applications, but 3 weeks is unacceptable to me. So that's, these payments that people get are, it's their mortgage payment. It's food on the table. And if even one person is falling through the cracks, and I'm hoping this isn't a lot, but if even one person is falling through the cracks, it's not right. It's not acceptable, and it needs to be fixed.
Well,
what am I hearing from Deed? I'm hearing, they're working on these things best they can. I have not heard specifically on Missy's case, and I actually had my staff reach out to Deed again today. I haven't heard back to this point, but I know they are overwhelmed. But again, this is unacceptable for any government agency that a constituent needs to wait 3 weeks like that.
Yeah, and while you have heard from a constituent, being Missy, about this particular situation, you've heard from many voters about other issues. This is really hard for people to navigate. While a large chunk of people who are unemployed because of this pandemic are seeing the benefits and have been taken care of, there is that fraction of people, because let me tell you, Peggy, we hear from them. People are letting us know when they're not getting responded to because they are so scared. So it is happening, and the percentage, I don't know either.
Right, and to me, communication is big for any government agency. For me, myself as a legislator, we need to communicate with people. And if there's a problem, they should be communicating with Missy and saying, hey, we've got a problem, we're working on it. So at least she knows, because right now she's basically in the dark. She doesn't know, did they get it? Are they working on it? And that's just not a fair circumstance to put anybody under. There have been a lot of cases. Most of the ones that I'm dealing with are the independent contractors, the small business owners, where the federal government just made some changes when they passed their stimulus bill to include that group into unemployment. And that those people are trying to apply, and Deed is just not ready for that yet. So we're really trying to work through all these situations. And again, I think Missy's is one where that should have been done, 2 weeks ago, even longer than that. So hopefully we'll get this figured out for her. Like I said, I'm sending a big star next to her name to Deed, and this needs to get fixed. There's no excuse.
And so Missy knows as well, I reached out to Deed to ask about her specific case as well, knowing that we were going to air her story, and I haven't heard back from them either. So I can understand where people would sit and be frustrated at the system.